Hi, my name is Alexandra Froelich-Hankinson. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I serve as the Director of Student Conduct and Ethical Development here at San Jose State University. Here at SJSU, we are committed to using a consistent process to investigate situations that occur on campus. We work to uphold our community values and ensure that our community is fair, safe, and supportive for all its members. We want to ensure Spartans understand the conduct process, are able to participate in the full process, and feel supported in exercising their due process rights. When an incident occurs on campus, the information is sent to Student Conduct and Ethical Development. A Student Conduct Administrator will then review everything to determine if there is enough information to go to what is called a conference meeting or if an investigation is needed first. Once the Student Conduct Administrator has determined what is needed, they will send a letter to involved students, letting them know that a Student Conduct Administrator would like to meet with them. This letter is called a notice, either a notice of conference or a notice of investigation. It will contain information about the incident, provide further information about the student conduct process, describe the rights and responsibilities of the students involved, and share some supportive resources that are available. The notice letter will be sent through our university case management system, which is called Maxian. Students will be receiving an email letting them know that a letter is available. In some cases, they may also receive a text message. To access the letter, they will need to use their student ID as a passcode. Sometimes the Student Conduct Administrator will ask the student to schedule a meeting with them and provide directions on how to do so. Other times, the notice will contain a pre-scheduled meeting using the student's class schedule. In either case, the student is able to contact Student Conduct and Ethical Development to discuss the meeting time or any other needs they have around the meeting. If students want to review their student conduct file before the meeting, they can contact Student Conduct and Ethical Development to do so. The file contains information filed about the incident, any evidence collected, as well as copies of email correspondence. Students are allowed to read their file, but they can't take it home or make copies of any of the documents. The meeting will be attended by the Student Conduct Administrator and the student. If the student wants to have an advisor present, they can select someone. At the meeting, the Student Conduct Administrator and the student will have a conversation about the incident. The content of the meeting depends on whether the student was sent a notice of investigation or a notice of conference. If the letter was a notice of investigation, the meeting is an investigation meeting. These are for any individuals that can provide further information about the incident, those who potentially witnessed the incident or those who were involved. The Student Conduct Administrator will ask questions about the situation to understand the student's perspective and experience. At the end of the meeting, the Student Conduct Administrator will share the next steps. If the letter was a notice of conference, then the meeting will be a conference to discuss whether the student is responsible for violating campus policies, and if so, what the appropriate outcome should be. The Student Conduct Administrator will ask questions about the incident to learn the student's perspective and to help the Conduct Administrator understand the various factors that influenced the student's choices. They will also discuss the policies involved to ensure that a student understands university expectations and the importance of following them. Finally, they will talk about the outcome they feel is appropriate and why. In this meeting, there will also be time for students to ask questions. After the conference, the Student Conduct Administrator will send a resolution agreement. This letter contains information about the incident, lists the policies the student is alleged to have violated, and describe the proposed outcomes, also known as sanctions. As with the notice letters, this is sent through the university case management system known as Maxian and requires the student to use their ID as a passcode to access it. Once the student has received the resolution agreement, they have a choice about how they want to proceed. There are times the student agrees with the decision made by the Student Conduct Administrator, and they agree that they are responsible for violating policies listed. They also agree with the outcome. If this happens, the student can sign the resolution agreement, and this will resolve the case. the student will need to complete the listed outcomes by the deadline mentioned in the resolution letter. However, there are times when students don't fully agree with the decision made by the student conduct administrator. Sometimes they don't agree that they are responsible for violating the policies. Other times they agree they have violated policies but don't agree with the proposed outcomes. In those cases, students don't sign the resolution agreement. Instead, they should request a hearing by emailing Student Conduct and Ethical Development. A hearing is a formal review of the incident. The meeting is led by a hearing officer and is attended by the student conduct administrator, the student, and their advisors if they have any. At this meeting, the hearing officer will review the case. Both the student conduct administrator and the student will have an opportunity to explain why they feel the student is responsible or not responsible for violating campus policies. They will both have an opportunity to call witnesses, if there are any, and present any evidence. The hearing officer will ask questions to ensure they understand. The student conduct administrator and the student will also have an opportunity to explain what an appropriate outcome will be. After the hearing is over, the hearing officer will write a report that summarizes the hearing and provides their recommended outcomes. This report will be sent to the Vice President of Student Affairs, who will review it and make a final decision. The Vice President of Student Affairs' decision is final, so the student will need to follow any directions that are given. After the case is resolved, either by a resolution agreement or a hearing, the student has to abide by the outcome. This outcome could include sanctions, where the student is required to complete something, such as writing a reflection paper, attending a workshop, or paying restitution. The outcome could also require a status change that doesn't require any action by the student, such as disciplinary probation, suspension, or expulsion. Ultimately, student conduct and ethical development wants to ensure campus is safe, our Spartans are supported, and that we uphold SJSU's community values. We are here to support students and hope to prevent situations from occurring. Feel free to reach out to us anytime.